All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Peter Renna back with another edition of Dollar Bin Digging. Now, this week I'm going to kind of shift focus and look far ahead into the Marvel Disney Plus plans in looking at what they got coming for us with Riri Williams. I don't know, for whatever reason, I just started thinking about her as a character, and I just figured, now's a good time just to start looking ahead at some stuff that we might want to, keep an eye out for. So, if you like what I'm doing here, I do have the new Dollar Bin Digging Finds video, which is more focused on my actual pickups. So if you prefer that kind of format, you're still going to get that. That'll be earlier in the week, generally on, I think on Mondays going to shoot for, and then I'll be dropping this one on Fridays, which might tackle a theme or just some books that I think people should be aware of and keeping an eye out for. So I'm going to try to give you both going forward. So hopefully you're enjoying both formats and checking out both on comicbookinvest.com as well as on my YouTube channel, Rennavision. So please, hopefully you like, you subscribe, you hit the alert button so you're getting notified of all the stuff I got dropping on my channel, including these Dollar Bin videos, as well as some heat checks that I'm doing with my buddy Ben C. And I'm going to try to be adding a little bit more as I can find time, to go on. Maybe get back to some of those toy videos that I used to do because it's been a while since I've dropped one of those. Also, as I'm nearing 1,000 followers on Instagram, I'm preparing to do my actual first giveaway to hopefully, give something back to you guys, the viewers. So hopefully you are keeping an eye on my Instagram, which is at Rennavision, as well as following my YouTube channel or subscribing to my YouTube channel. Also, Rennavision keeps it simple because I do have a set of very hard to find, sold out, super hot High Republic 4 variants. These are from our buddies at comicbookinvest.com. I will have a set to give away. More details on what that giveaway is going to be to come. I'm not starting it just yet because I just want to, give a little space to my buddy Chris Gnomes, who's also doing a similar promotion right now. So I'm going to let his run its course first. And then if you guys don't win Chris's, maybe you could win mine. So please like, subscribe, follow me, follow Chris's channel, and I don't know, just hang in there for a second and we're going to get some good books. All right, so let's get into the books here. We're going to be talking about Riri Williams. As you guys all know, she takes over basically for Tony Stark, Iron Man, in the comics. Once he went down and went basically to all AI for a little while. Now, we'll be getting that exactly in the MCU? It's possible, considering, Downey's character is gone. But, who knows? Maybe they do bring him back as the AI, and that's something we get going forward. Who's to say what we're going to get, but we do know we are getting something with Riri Williams in it. So, looking ahead, what books should we be keeping an eye out for? Now, everybody already knows her first appearance in Invincible Iron Man 7 at this point, and it's a cameo. There's a couple of covers. You got this, and you got that Mary Jane cover. You're not going to find these in Dollar Bins. I mean, if you do, obviously pick it up, but I'm not suggesting that's something you're going to be able to find anymore. You used to be able to, including the second print and the third print of this book, but those days are long past, as those boxes have been pretty much cleaned out. And you also get her first full, as people have been kind of gravitating towards, in issue 9 as well. Also, multiple printings, multiple covers on this one. Those are books you should already know, and obviously most people do, because these books have already gotten super, super expensive. So what can we look at after that? Now, we know she picks up, again, the mantle of Iron Man sort of for a little while, taking over for Tony Stark. And you see her basically running through that title of Invincible Iron Man. They restart, a whole new series with her. And even though this run of Invincible Iron Man notes on the cover of issue 1 that Riri Williams is Ironheart, she's technically not Ironheart yet at this point in the story. So, despite what that cover tells you on issue 1, that's not the book that you really want if you want her first as Ironheart. For that one, you're going to have to move on a couple of issues in, because she's still building her own suit. She's getting ready to go. So in issue 3 of that Invincible Iron Man run, you get her first appearance as Ironheart. She makes this new suit for herself. It definitely has more feminine quality to it. And she gets, basically named by AI Tony Stark as Ironheart. So that's where she kind of basically in canon, in storyline, becomes it in issue 3. So you still can maybe luckily find that issue 3 in the cheap bins, because that regular Invincible Iron Man run, it doesn't do all that much as far as everybody wants their first appearance. They don't really care about the other books. So sometimes you can find books like that on the cheap. Now, that issue 3's already started to spike a little bit, so it may be harder and harder to find as the days go by, but now's the time to kind of look while it's still, pretty much on the back of everybody's mind. I mean, Riri is far, far off. And just for informational purposes, there also is a 1 in 25 that is pretty cool. I got one sitting here right next to me. I dig this cover. It is Chris Anka, I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's a great cover. I dig it. But that being said, that regular issue is one that you might be able to find for cheap and maybe worth the grab if you want her first as Ironheart. Now, moving on to the next book that we can look into, and figure if they're going to give her some sort of property like a show, she's going to have a supporting cast. Now, one character I think that is probably going to make it into the show is her neighbor, basically across the street. He is a character that hangs around throughout the comics and then kind of plays, a bit of a friend and an accomplice of sorts to her in this, and that's Xavier King. Now, he knows who she is, and he basically helps her keep her identity as Ironheart and keeps her whole process moving as being a young superhero on her own. Now, he first shows up in Invincible Iron Man number 595. That is after that run that we just spoke about with Riri becoming Ironheart. Basically, they renumbered it for legacy numbering for Iron Man. So in issue 595, this is when Xavier first shows up. Like I said, he's the neighbor across the street, and then when she picks up her own individual series of Ironheart, he shows up throughout most of that run as well. That was only a 12-issue run, but he was there for most of it too. So again, he's a good supporting character that they might have on a show or whatever they might be doing for Riri. And our final one, we're going to move on into that run of when she gets her own solo title as Ironheart. I mean, by the time she gets that series, she's already gotten the new suit, which you've seen in Champions 22. I've already mentioned that one before on Dollar Bin Digging to keep an eye out for. That's not only her first in that pink armor, new pink armor for Ironheart, but that's also Amadeus Cho taking the name of Brawn. And so it's a good Champions issue to go grab if you can still find it for cheap, issue 22. That issue also has a second print that is pretty tough to find. So again, moving into the Riri Williams Ironheart series, I'd recommend just basically getting any of these issues. I'm probably going to get back to these again a little bit later as we get into maybe some more villains that could show up. But that's nothing we need to do right now because, again, her show or whatever it's going to be is way, way, way off in the future. I'm just dropping these couple of ideas on you right now to just kind of get a head start on things. So issue 1, you can see that's heavily printed, but still, I'd grab it because, I mean, look what All New Hawkeye 1 with Kate Bishop does. People want it. So you want to get those first issues. And this one also has a pretty cool second print that is tough to find. And then you can look at issue 2, which had that the Stan Lee memorial kind of banner going across the top. They did that month when it came out. Now, there's also incentive variants for these books that you can keep an eye out for. And again, second print on this issue 2 as well. But the reason why I bring up the issue 2 here is because this is where we kind of get introduced to the villains that basically run throughout that that series. And again, we'll get back to the villains at another time, but basically the 10 rings. And with the 10 rings, I mean, that's obviously tied to Mandarin. And we do know we are getting, maybe a new Mandarin in the MCU. I mean, with Shang-Chi, and the 10 rings, it's going to tie in one form or another. So how they're going to do so, we don't know yet until we get that Shang-Chi movie. And I don't know. It's definitely interesting, and we can start seeing a lot of things start to kind of tie together as the MCU grows and moves on. And with that said, now these 10 ring characters in this comic and this series, they're looking for what is it? The Wellspring of Power, I believe they call it. I think it's the Wellspring of Power. It's like a mystical kind of location thing that they can tap into for basically power. But it was also previously known as the Well of All Things way back in the 90s when it was first introduced. So with that, we're going to look at the book that kind of introduces this idea of the Wellspring of Power, or the Well of All Things, and that was in the New Warriors 24. Yeah, how often do people go looking for New Warriors books. So here's a cheap one you can probably find in those dollar bins. New Warriors 24. You get that first appearance of the Well of All Things, which is the same thing as the Wellspring of Power that these 10 Rings characters are basically after throughout this Ironheart run. Again, this is something that we could see tied into in the MCU and on these shows going forward as we're getting more mystical things being introduced with more on the more magical side after WandaVision. They're basically, showing that magic is real in the MCU, and we're going to get more, like I said, with the Shang-Chi movie. A lot of these things will start tying together with the Multiverse of Madness. Who knows where they're going to go and how crazy off the rails, they're going to get with all this stuff. And we're getting time travel and all the stuff that we as comic book readers have taken for granted and just, see as old hat. Like, all that craziness is now being dropped on the general populace through the movies and TV, and so far so good. So that's just another book that you should just keep an eye out for, that New Warriors 24, because, I don't know, it's interesting. I mean, if the first Darkhold can become hot because it's basically an idea or, a little Easter egg for the villains and everybody to chase after, why not the Well of All Things or the Wellspring of Power being something that people want to chase? So get ahead of it. Look for that new Warriors book, and if you find it for cheap, just grab one, just in case. Just be prepared. That's all I'm saying. So with that said, thank you for stopping by. Again, please like, subscribe, hit the alert button for my channel. Keep an eye on my Instagram as well as on my channel for more information for that giveaway, because I will be giving away those books hopefully soon. I'm probably going to do it once I do hit 1,000 followers on Instagram. I'm like 30 away, so pretty close. So just going to give it in the next couple of weeks. I'll have more details on what we're doing with that giveaway. So keep an eye out for it. Keep an eye out for it, because I can't wait to get back to you guys. So with that said, I will be dropping another Dollar Bin Finds video next week, so keep an eye on comicbookinvest.com for that, and hopefully you're enjoying this. I will see you guys next time.